Jeanette Mott Oxford is currently the Executive Director of the Missouri Association for Social Welfare and a former member of the Missouri House of Representatives. Jeanette was the first openly gay member of the House, and in this interview discusses the state of her personal health.
I'm a person who's had a weight issue pretty much my whole life long. I was the chubby kid in school and all, but in recent years, especially since 2005, when I was sworn in as a member of the Missouri House of Representatives, I began to gain weight pretty rapidly until I got up to a high that I know of 431 pounds. But in October of 2010, I became convinced that it was time to make some changes, and I started attending a support group, and in December of that year, started eating consistently on a food plan recommended by a nutritionist that my doctor sent me to, and over the last 3 years, I've lost 136 pounds. Certainly, I had known for years that my eating was out of control, that I was gaining weight constantly, and it was a very kind of frightening situation for me. It was to the point that I basically wouldn't go to see my doctor unless she promised not to make me weigh while I was there. And since I started to have high blood pressure in 2001, it was important that I see my doctor, and she was smart enough to say it's more important that you come in quarterly and let me check your blood pressure and make sure that I get your meds right than that I make you weigh. So I won't make you weigh. You can come on in and see me and just tell the nurse I don't weigh. And so we did it that way. Until I started to actually want to know what I weighed, because I wanted to see if I'd lost some weight. I only weigh when I go to the doctor's office, so I only find out about twice a year how I'm doing at this point. So what happened is in 2010, there were sort of like three things that happened. The first thing that happened is a friend of mine who has a cocaine problem stole money from me, and then confessed that she stole money from me and made amends to me by paying the money back. And in talking with her about this situation where she'd stolen from me, I went, you know, I act about food just like she acts about cocaine. And I started to wonder if there's something that's like an addiction in how I relate to food. So the second thing that happened is I had to go have carpal tunnel surgery on my right hand. And the doctor who I was there to see about hand surgery said, "Do you want to lose weight?" Well, it was kind of like none of her business. I'm there for hand surgery. But she had some theories about weight loss, and it was another time to kind of like draw that attention, you know, to that issue for me. The third thing is my pastor said, "I'm noticing that you're not moving as well as you used to move, and you seem to be in pain a lot. Is there something I can do?" And I said, "I don't think there's anything that anybody can do for me, but I certainly welcome you praying for me." And then the fourth thing that happened is that a friend who's very overweight invited me to a support group for people who are overweight, and I decided to attend. So it was those four things kind of unrolling over a period of several months that led me to take a risk on doing some things differently. When I first started to make some changes related to my health, I received a lot of encouragement. People told me that they'd been worried about me for a while, that they certainly had seen that I'd been gaining weight and that I was having trouble moving. And lots of folks, asked me, how can I be helpful? And lots of people told me that they were very excited that I wanted to make changes and that they wished me every success because they wanted to see me around for the long haul. A whole lot of folks told me that they thought that work that I had done on a variety of social justice issues, including LGBT equality, had been meaningful to them and important to them, and they didn't want to see me die young. I work on a very simple method of staying in the day that I'm in instead of thinking about the future, and I just follow my food plan, and that makes it very simple. As long as I follow the food plan, it doesn't get complicated and hard. If I should go, oh, it's Christmas time, or it's Thanksgiving, or it's the 4th of July, I think I'll change how things go for today, then it kind of gets hard. But as long as I just kind of like say, it's today, I'm going to stay in today and eat on my plan today, it's pretty easy. I'd say the hardest thing was to get going in 2010 around believing that it might be different because I had so many examples of failure, so to speak. I'd tried to lose weight a lot of times. I'd lost weight for a little while and then started eating on my old patterns and put the weight back on and some more with it. So the hardest part, I think, was having some hope that it could change. I do believe that this does need to be a lifelong change for me, and that means that I should continue attending the support group meetings that have been so helpful so far, and I should continue to follow a food plan that works for me. I do know that as people lose weight, they sometimes have to change their food plan some. It's a little easier maybe in the early days to lose some weight than a little later, partly because just the energy needed to move a very large body around maybe burns a little more calories than it takes as you lose some weight. So I'm now at a stage where I've actually had my knees replaced and one hip replaced. And I'm walking without pain that I had in the past because of those joint replacements and because of the weight loss. And so now I'm adding some exercise to the nutritional changes that I made. And now I'm just basically using a simple walking program. So it's important that I combine good nutrition with an exercise program in coming days. And I'm committed to staying in my support group that's been very helpful to me. I had actually lost 100 pounds before. But as I said, I didn't do that in the most healthy ways in the past. When I was in my 20s, I lost about 100 pounds, but I did it through a very restrictive calorie counting method where I thought I'd had a good day if I ate 500 calories. And what I probably did is kind of messed up my body's metabolism by under-eating, making my body think that I was starving. And then that can have some negative consequences. So I'm using a much more careful, balanced, slow weight loss method currently, and I think that's better for my body overall. I think that it is very helpful to talk to your doctor and your nutritionist, and that if you find that you don't trust your doctor, see another doctor. You know, part of what has enabled me to be in such good partnership with my doctor is the very first day I went into her office, I didn't like her intake form. It asked me to lie about my life as a lesbian. It said, are you single, married, divorced, or widowed, which is what a lot of forms say. Well, Missouri doesn't let me legally marry, and I've been with my partner Dorothy for 30 years now. I've been with my doctor about 10 years now, so I guess I'd probably been with my partner about 20 years at the time that I went into her office. And I told her first thing off, your form doesn't have a place for me to tell the truth about my life, which is that I'm with another woman that we've been together for a long time. And I hope you'll change your form, because asking your patients to tell less than the truth about themselves is not a good idea, in my opinion. She thought that made a lot of sense. So the very next time I went to see her, she'd changed her intake form and had the whole agency do it, not just like her office, but her clinic belonged to a chain of clinics, and they all changed their intake form so that lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people had a better chance of telling the truth about their lives on the forms. So getting with a doctor that you trust, that you can tell the truth to, somebody who'll take time to explain things to you and answer your questions, I think is very important. And then she recommended that I talk to a nutritionist who designed a plan for me that was for a person with high blood pressure. That plan would not work for my best friend who's diabetic. If she ate on my plan, it would have too many carbohydrates in it, and it would not be good for her health. So there's no one-size-fits-all nutrition plan. It should be about your particular health condition. And this plan has worked for me. It's called Dietary Approaches to Stopping Hypertension. You can Google it and look up DASH diet if you want, but you shouldn't go on it unless you have a blood pressure problem and your doctor has said this is a good thing for you to use. It would not be the right plan for everyone. Also, there's different ways to do DASH, and mine has about a 1,600 calorie a day total of food in it, but that can be adjusted up or down depending on other things about yourself. So it's important to also know whether you trust the nutritionist that you talk to. Some nutritionists have actually given some bad advice to some friends of mine, and I've recommended that they go to see somebody else. Basically, what I call bad advice is when a nutritionist tells you something that the place in you that spots where the truth is If that spot says, no, that's not right about me, and the person says, oh yeah, it is, then you need to see somebody else, because any healthcare professional we see should listen to us about what we know about ourselves.